Alright guys, we've all Russell here and today is going to be episode 2 of Pay-Per-View Flashbacks, the series where I look at big pay-per-views in the history of wrestling just because I feel like it, or because I have fond memories of the show, or I have fond memories of some of the matches. And today is going to be a very important pay-per-view to me, and it's going to be Backlash 2009, the show that took place on April 26th, 2009, with the theme song Seasons by Their Union, a really, really good theme song. This is a show that I remember really fondly, and I remember all the matches. It's a show I've actually got on DVD upstairs. I actually forgot to bring it down, and really should have. Um, but in fact, here is the DVD. I just went upstairs and grabbed it. It's a DVD I got for Christmas about, don't know, 10 years ago. And it's a DVD I specifically asked for because I had fond memories of the show. And it's a show which I remembered all the matches to. And this is what I like about the series is I maybe have had a really good perception based on a pay-per-view, and it may change, but I don't want to spoil too much for you. So without further ado, I guess we should get into the show. This was, I suppose, to give you a little bit of the backstory. This is the first pay per view post WrestleMania 25. I'm not going to call it the 25th anniversary because that's not what it is. That's not how anniversaries work. And it was about 3 weeks later, and a lot of the same feuds were basically going on. And let's get into the show. So, opening contest for the ECW Championship is Christian. Worked everyone t-shirt on today. Christian taking on the ECW champion Jack Swagger. This is a match that I've always really liked, and watching it here for this review, really liked it. We actually forget how good Jack Swagger was when he first debuted, and his ECW title run was relatively short. It was only a couple of months, but his actual debut and sort of the run up to winning the belt on ECW was pretty good. So this match here with Christian was very good. He military press slammed Christian to the outside. He tried that again later, and Christian jumped out the back. Christian tried to do the thing in the corner where he goes under the ropes and does the kick, but Swagger caught him, slammed him down, only to later try it again and actually hit it that time. So good storytelling there. Christian went for a sunset flip out of the corner to Swagger for a near fall. Swagger went for the gut wrench powerbomb, but Christian flipped out the back. Christian went for something, and Swagger caught him and gave him a great gut buster. There's some great spots. A big back body drop by Swagger as well, like a backdrop off the top rope. Christian saw brilliantly. Christian is like such an underrated wrestler. I love Christian. Like when I think about my favorite wrestlers of all time, he's not in like the top 5, but he's in my like top 15, 20. And it's because of matches like this and moments like this. And this match was great because it was relatively simple. Like, Swagger's still relatively new, so with an experienced guy like Christian, Christian obviously took him through a fairly simple match, but executed the match so well that I just have such great memories of it, obviously. Um, no finishers, nothing like that. No big kickouts or out, really. Christian didn't hit a kill switch, no frog splashes, no gut wrench power bombs. This is before Swagger's using the ankle lock. And towards the finish, both men are in separate corners after Swagger. So Swagger earlier on in the match went for the Swagger bomb, which is where he goes up the turnbuckle and does like the splash, a bit like a Vader bomb, and he missed it. And then later in the match, after he did the massive backdrop to Christian, he did the Swagger bomb off the top rope to Christian. Christian kicked out, and that was basically the only big near fall in the match. And then both men are in separate corners. Swagger is taking one turnbuckle pad off, and while the referee is telling him not to do that, Christian is actually taking the opposite turnbuckle pad off. Swagger runs at Christian. Christian moves. Swagger goes into the exposed turnbuckle. Christian hits the kill switch. One finish. 1, 2, 3. Christian wins the ECW Championship. My favourite part about the finish is that Christian, after pinning Swagger, immediately runs to the turnbuckle before even celebrating and tries to put the pad back on and just can't. But he tried. He tried to make it look really sensible and like a really smart sort of finish. Christian ECW champion. I've got great memories of Christian's title run. He was very easily the best part of ECW in its last year before it died. And I'm going to give this match 3.5 stars. A really good opener to the show, and just exactly as I thought it would be. Swagger, probably the best match of his WWE career. Really, like 3.5 stars though. Very good match. Very good way to open the show. After that, Christian was backstage and he was congratulated by Evan Bourne and Tommy Dreamer, and then he would see Edge. And Edge, this is one of the things I found crazy. Edge is talking to Christian about his hatred of John Cena, who he'll be facing in the main event. In a last man standing match, I should add. And he's talking about his hatred of John Cena. And at the end of the promo, he says, "And I'm going to be the new world heavyweight champion." And the crowd booed. And when I saw that, I was like, I wonder if Cena's going to get cheered, because this is deep into boo Cena territory. So I was very interested to see if later on in the show, Cena would get booed. Second match on the show. This is also a follow-on match from WrestleMania 25. Well, that's the first one, actually, because the ECW title wasn't on Mania 25. And it's Ricky the Dragon Steamboat against Chris Jericho. So this match came about because at WrestleMania 25, or the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania, Chris Jericho faced Jimmy Snuka, Roddy Piper, and Ricky Steamboat because he was berating and beating the legends. And Snuka wasn't very good. Roddy Piper wasn't very good. Steamboat was brilliant. Like, it's one of those crazy things. I've seen this match a couple of times. I think I've actually rewatched this match because I wanted to kind of... I think it's when Steamboat was on AEW TV, and I made myself rewatch this to be like, was that match as good as I thought it was? Which we'll get to. But Steamboat was so good in the WrestleMania 25 3-on-1 match that they were just like, we've got nothing for Jericho to do, so let's just have him wrestle Steamboat at Backlash. And this match went about 12 minutes. And it was miraculous. Ricky Steamboat, I think, is something like 56 at this point. Like, he does look old, okay? He looks like he's in good enough shape to be a wrestler, but he is showing he's probably even older than I've just said. Maybe I should have a look at how old Steamboat is at that point. But yes, he's not young. He's not a spring chicken. He had not wrestled a singles pay-per-view match since 1994, which was against Stunning Steve Austin, I think they said, in WCW. And this match, again, miraculous. Like, Ricky Steamboat worked his arse off in this match. And Jericho worked brilliantly too. But this match is all about Steamboat. The arm drags are sensational. They are perfect. He arm drags Jericho, holds him down. Jericho tries to get away, arm drags him, holds him down. And it's a fairly simple match. There aren't too many big spots. But eventually Jericho does get the heat. Booting Steamboat down, slapping his head, telling him you're done, Steamboat, you know, you're finished. And it's great heel stuff. It's very easy for the crowd to get behind Steamboat. The crowd weren't super into it until there were a couple of near falls later on, but they were chanting Steamboat. So they were at least not chanting for the terrible, terrible bastard Jericho. And eventually, Jericho goes into the post, like the ring post over the turnbuckle. Steamboat gets his comeback, and he hits a big crossbody for a near fall. And he hits a big back suplex off the top rope for a near fall as well. Jericho goes for the line salt, but at that point, Steamboat gets up, gets him in an electric chair position, and Jericho actually counters it, and I believe hits an enziguri. But after the crossbody near fall, Steamboat goes to the middle rope in the far corner. He goes for a flying nothing. Jericho hits him with a code breaker. And 1, 2. Steamboat kicks out. Crowd pop for that. They'd expected that to be the finish. And eventually Steamboat gets up. Inside cradles Jericho. Jericho rolls out of it, locks him in the walls of Jericho. Steamboat taps very quickly. So Jericho wins. He beats Steamboat. He holds the walls of Jericho in after the bell because he's a terrible man. I really like this era of Jericho. This like really evil. A lot of people say the Javier Bardem Jericho, the No Country for Old Men Jericho. He talks slowly and he's methodical and he's a great heel in this time. And this is another one of those really good matches he probably had in this time with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. And I'm going to give this match 3.5 stars like the opener. It was as good as I remembered it being too. And man, Ricky's Dragon Steamboat got a standing ovation after the match. Like, I've not seen a massive amount of Ricky Steamboat matches. I think this is my favourite Ricky Steamboat match. I know 3.5 stars is like, there's many 4-star and 5-star Ricky Steamboat matches. But this match is so special because it is preposterously good. But yeah, 3.5 stars. I really like this as well. This show was not on fire. These weren't like 4 or 5-star matches, but this show was looking pretty good at this point. Third match on the show, Kane versus CM Punk. CM Punk at this point is the Money in the Bank winner. He obviously won it at WrestleMania 25. Kane was angry that he did not win the briefcase in that match. I believe Kane was the last person Punk actually kicked off a ladder. And these guys obviously used to be a tag team. I think they challenged for the tag titles at one point, but they never won them. And this feud is just sort of nothing. They said that Punk actually beat Kane on the week's Raw, which I find really silly, that they had a match on Raw the same week. They had a pay-per-view match. But then on Superstars the same week, Kane pinned Punk in a tag match, something. So, really weird that. Punk works on Kane's arm, which actually I've seen very few people do, realistically. Like, it seems like such an obvious thing to work on. He uses the chokeslam, work on his right hand, and is working on the arm, and Kane is selling the arm when Punk kicks him, or when Punk gave him an armbar, which he gave him. Kane went for a chokeslam at one point, and Punk did like an armbar DDT to the arm. So Kane sells the arm when Punk is actually injuring it. Every other minute, just forgets, just does not sell it. He's not even shaking it out. He's not getting the blood flow into it. He's not doing any of that. He only sells it when Punk injures it. And that really damaged this match for me. Like, Punk does a couple of cool things. He does a big forearm to the outside, and then he does a big forearm, like a springboard clothesline to Kane's back at one point. He does the running knee in the corner and the bulldog. He can't get which didn't look pretty either. He can't get Kane up for the GTS. And in the end, Kane, I believe he blocks basically Punk hits 2 head kicks, hits a spinning kick, a slap, a back fist, and then goes for another roundhouse kick. Kane catches the leg, basically hits a 1-arm leg trap choke slam. 1, 2, 3. Kane wins and then does not sell his arm. Kane beats CM Punk. This is a 2.25 star match. Like, my initial impression was this was about 3 stars, but that's selling. Oh man, I've not seen this match probably since I initially watched Backlash back in 2009. But that selling really took me out of the match, and yeah, really damaged it for me. 2.25 stars, exactly what I've got in me notes. So yeah, a bit of a letdown that one. Because Kane is a solid hand. Is a solid hand. 2.25 stars then. Fourth match on the show, and at this point, I just want to mention how good the video packages are. Like, video packages in WWE today and AEW are really good. They're really well presented. And I think that the way that I say they're all really good now, like I think of Jimmy and Jay's one at WrestleMania, even though the match wasn't very good. It makes me think that the old ones weren't. I'm watching like a 2009 pay-per-view, which is when I just started getting back into wrestling. No Way Out 2009 was actually the pay-per-view I really got back into wrestling. Watching the video packages are so good So the first video package is for the next match, which is the I Quit match between Jeff and Matt Hardy. The video package obviously focuses on Matt getting his big win at WrestleMania 25 and saying how he beat Jeff in a stretcher match and he wants to end Jeff Hardy for good. And Jeff will not stay down. And it's Jeff saying, "You've beat me, you've broken me, but you will not make me say I quit." It's brilliant. The match, though. So I've always had the opinion that this I Quit match, I've probably not watched this I Quit match again since I initially watched it 16 years ago nearly. And that I've always been of the opinion that this I Quit match was better than their Extreme Rules match. Because their Extreme Rules match I thought was like good, but I don't think it got into like a second gear. Or even if I don't know. It just didn't really get going to me. And the I Quit match, I was always like, that's when they finally got their stride. Rewatching this match though, I was really disappointed, really underwhelmed. Basically, it's 19 minutes. It's nearly a 20-minute match. And I really like Jeff Hardy. Just like I'm talking about Christian earlier, Jeff Hardy's one of my favourites of all time in that sort of top 10, top 15 sort of category. I love his babyface fire. He's always been better as a babyface. Why people make him a heel is beyond me. Even though TNA's like the only ones who made him a heel. You know, he's got great babyface fire, he's got a great moveset, he's got a very unique style. I loved getting Jeff Hardy action figures when I was little. And Matt's a good hand too. Matt is a pretty good little wrestler, and he's maybe a bit underrated, really. And the matchup they had was a bit boring. Like, the crowd didn't help. The crowd did not give one single shit about this match. So what happens is, let's put that there. So what happens is Jeff and Matt just do a bit of wrestling, and then eventually Matt pushes Jeff to the outside where Jeff lands and tweaks his knee, and then Matt starts working on the knee. So he does a figure four around the ring post, he does a figure four in the ring, and then they do the reversals and reverse the pressure and stuff. And all this is after Jeff's done a few things outside, like he did a poetry in motion using the steps, and he basically destroys Matt for a couple of minutes, and then it's this spot that gets Matt pretty much a whole load of heat. He does a single leg Boston Crab while sat down. He just stomps on the leg, really works on it, and it was a bit boring. Like, it just not a lot to it. Like, an I Quit match, I expect, this sounds so sort of immature, but I expect there to be tables and ladders and stuff. And like, their Extreme Rules match had everything in it realistically. Like, had ladders and tables and stuff. And it's an I Quit match. And they're trying to make each other quit with like normal moves like suplexes and DDTs and stuff. So Matt never hits a twist of fate, he never hits a side effect. There are a couple of moments where they're also just on completely different pages. For example, Jeff goes for a twist of fate to Matt, and he doesn't even spin, and Matt's already face planting, and so he picks him up and just hits another one. And that actually was the finish. So after all this legwork Jeff's been doing and stuff like that, Jeff actually did hit a whisper in the wind at one point, and he did actually sell the leg. His selling of the leg was okay in this match, better than Kane's arm selling. So Jeff hits a twist of fate in the ring after the botched one. Hits a swanton bomb. Matt says he doesn't quit. Hits another swanton bomb. Matt says he doesn't quit. They roll outside. Matt goes for something, and then Jeff hits a twist of fate on the outside. He rolls Matt in. He gets out a table, and he duct tapes Matt's hands together and his legs together on the table. Then he gets out a rope, and he basically ties Matt's whole frame, his whole body, to the table. And then he gets a ladder, puts the ladder in the corner, and stands on the top of the ladder, ready to leg drop Matt through the table. And finally, the referee goes up to Matt with a microphone, and You know, I'm not too. I'm okay with that sort of the referee as the microphone in his back pocket. I think there are some great I Quit matches in WWE. One day I'd love to talk about Breaking Point 2009, so I could talk about Cena and Orton because that's a brilliant I Quit match. So the referee goes up to Matt with a microphone, and Matt's going, "Jeff, we're brothers. You know, we're brothers. What would our mum say? What would our dad say?" And Jeff's just like, "I'm going to leg drop you through this table." And Matt goes, "I quit." And I just didn't think they did enough to warrant that being the I quit. Like, I like the fact that Matt in the end was a snivelling little heel who got his comeuppance because the referee says I quit. Sorry, Matt says I quit. And Jeff goes to climb down the ladder and then leapfrogs over the ladder from the turnbuckle, leg drops Matt through the table, gets his comeuppance, Matt does. And, you know, this was like a match. I was really disappointed by this match. I'm going to give it 2.5 stars because it technically wasn't wrestled bad, but they were given a stipulation to work with, and it was just really dull. Like, I know it's a challenge with the microphone always breaking up the sort of flow of the match, but last man standing matches do that, and we'll actually talk about a last man standing match in a bit that really sort of balances what the match should be. Like, it's an I Quit match. There needs to be peril to be it. Matt quit, right? Matt quit in this match because he was going to get leg dropped through a table. That's preposterous. Like, I'm trying to think of like Batista, for example, in the Over the Limit match with John Cena at Over the Limit 2010. He quit because John Cena was going to AA him off a car through the stage. That's what you say I quit to. Not getting leg dropped through a table. Like, it was just a preposterous finish. 2.5 stars. Jeff gets his win back pretty much and wins the feud, and then he would go into a world title feud with Edge, which he would need a win like this for. So 2.5 stars though. Really underwhelmed by that. Fifth match on the show, and before the match, we've got to talk about the segment in the ring, the Carly Kiss Cam. I forgot this was on the show. So, the Carly Kiss Cam. It was a segment, if you don't know what that was, it was basically a segment where Great Carly called members of the WWE audience in the ring to kiss them. And it was funny because he's a big ugly man. Um, these were rough. This 2009 period is nostalgic for me, like Jeff Hardy and Rey Mysterio and Christian and John Cena. It's nostalgic, but some of it's rough. So the whole point of this kiss cam is Carly wants to kiss Santina Marella, which is Santino Marella in drag. And Santina Marella is also Miss WrestleMania. She won the Miss WrestleMania Battle Royal at WrestleMania 25. A man won a women's match. Not good at all. So Carly wants to kiss Santina Marella. And Santina Marella obviously doesn't want to kiss Carly. So Santina comes out and Carly's ready to kiss her, and Santina says, "I can't kiss you because I've already got a boyfriend." And Carly says, "Tell the great Carly." Ranjin Singh says, "Tell the great Carly who your boyfriend is." And Santino says, "It's JR." And JR is like, "What are you on about?" And So Jerry Lawler was very funny on commentary. At one point, he said "get out," and it made me absolutely chuckle. But I can't remember what he said it to. But it was very funny. It was the best part of the segment. And JR's like, "I have no idea what you're on about." And then Ranjan Singh says, "Well, you need to prove your love for JR by kissing him." And Santino obviously won't do it. Beth Phoenix's music hits. And she comes out with Rosa Mendez. I can't remember why Rosa Mendez was with her at this point. Also, how long has Rosa Mendez been in WWE? Crikey, I didn't realise she was there that long. Hello, Ellie. My dog's just jumped out of her bed. Ellie? So, Ellie, do you want to come sit with me? Come sit with Daddy? No? Fair enough. But yeah, so Beth Phoenix comes out. Do you want to go out, Ellie? I'll maybe let her out in a minute. So Beth Phoenix comes out. He challenges Santino to the Miss WrestleMania crown. She then berates the Great Khali and calls him stupid. Great Khali then brain chops her, pushes her down. Santina covers her. 1, 2, 3. Santina retains the crown. I'm not going to rate the match because it was 4 seconds long. The segment, though, diabolical. Absolutely. Oh, this was rough watching. And I know that you only really... Oh, good girl. She's gone back to bed. Uh, this was rough stuff to watch. Like, I forgot this was on the show. And, like, I know you maybe should consider this sort of when you're rating the show, but, like, it's part of the show, and it went longer than most of the matches did. So, yeah, diabolical stuff. Next match on the show, 6th match, the penultimate match, is the 6-man tag team matchup for the WWE Championship. As Legacy, Randy Orton, Ted DiBiase, and Cody Rhodes took on the team of Triple H, Batista, and Shane McMahon. So this is basically following on from WrestleMania 25. Triple H retained the title against Randy Orton. The argument is that Randy Orton should have just won the belt there, and you end WrestleMania with a heel win, but Randy Orton gets the belt, and that's a massive win for him at WrestleMania. And the feud is essentially Randy Orton is really angry that Triple H kicked him out of Evolution and stole his world title. Alexa, stop. Alexa's just telling me to take out the bins. Yeah, so Randy Orton's really angry that Triple H took the world title from him and kicked him out of Evolution. And so he punted all the McMahons. He punted Shane, punted Vince. He DDT'd and RKO'd Stephanie and then gave her a kiss. The actual heat for this feud going into WrestleMania was really good. And then they had the match, and the match stunk the joint out because it was 26 minutes and the crowd were tired and it went too long. And it was if Triple H got DQ'd or counted out, Randy Orton won the belt. Like, it was like a blood feud. Like, it should have been like an Extreme Rules or a Street Fight or something. But I digress. That's not this match. So that eventually led to this match. Batista returned a couple of weeks before this matchup, and he took Vince McMahon's place in this match. And this matchup, relatively simple, but I thought relatively good. I have memories of this matchup, but I remember the finish. The finish is great, but I don't remember the whole match. So what happens at the beginning is Randy Orton runs backstage. Triple H basically sends Randy Orton backstage, and then it's the 3 babyfaces against the 2 heels of DiBiase and Rhodes. Fair enough, psychology. And DiBiase and Rhodes are obviously just getting beaten up. Eventually, Randy Orton does come back though and post Batista, and this is when Legacy start to just get good heat, and it's relatively good stuff. Batista is the first babyface in peril who DiBiase and Rhodes work on. Eventually, and Orton, the stomps, the apron DDT. DiBiase and Rhodes, especially DiBiase, I noticed. And and King actually remarked upon this whole second after I'd literally thought it. I was like, DiBiase's actually moving like Randy Orton. Like, that's very good. Like, that's a very good thing to do because that's showing that he's actually learning from his mentor. And then King said the exact same thing. Yeah. And, DiBiase and Rhodes at this point are not super workers, but they are good hands. Cody's obviously a super worker, I think, today. But back then, he was obviously very green. I think he was only about 23. So, but there were still decent workers in this match. And they work on Batista. He gets a hot tag to Shane, who eventually is taken down by Orton. And then they work on Orton, who finally gets the hot tag to Triple H. Triple H spinebusters Cody Rhodes. No, it's not spinebusters Randy Orton. Batista, I believe, spears Randy Orton at one point as well, which is actually how he gets the heat, I believe. Or how he eventually does make the hot tag to Shane. Shane hits an elbow drop on one of them at one point. It might have been Cody Rhodes. And then it just spills. Eventually, there's Randy Orton and Triple H in the ring, and they're fighting each other. Shane's on the outside, and Cody's gone out. Shane has sent Cody into the timekeeper's area. Cody hits Shane with a chair while the referee's not looking. He then hits Batista with a chair shot while the referee's not looking. While this is all going on, Triple H just hit Spine Buster on Randy Orton. He's waiting for the pedigree. Batista wants revenge, so he kicks Cody Rhodes in the gut, picks up a steel chair, goes to hit Cody Rhodes with it, but Triple H takes it out of Batista's hands because if Triple H gets disqualified, he will lose the title again. But smart stuff. Triple H should very much be on edge of his teammates losing the title for him. That's why I actually kind of like the fact that Triple H only came to the match at the end, because it put him on the apron and it showed that he was worrying about someone losing his title for him. And while Triple H is distracted by that, Randy Orton RKO's him. 1, 2. Triple H kicks out. Massive pop for that. But the referee is distracted by Batista and Cody Rhodes again. And Randy Orton punts Triple H, pins him. 1, 2, 3. The actual finish is really, really good. And the actual body of the match is really, really good too. And Randy Orton wins his WWE Championship. He finally one-ups Triple H, realistically. Like, I know he beat him in a last man standing match or something in 2007. I think it was, actually. No Mercy 2007. But this was like he'd beat Triple H. He'd not just beat him, he put him out. Triple H solved this injury. They brought out the stretcher for Triple H. The punt was one. It is actually almost still one of the most protected finishers in WWE history. And it was good that Randy Orton had like a proper killing move, like the pun. And Randy Orton and Cody and Ted skull to the back as quickly as they possibly can. Randy Orton's the new WWE champion. Triple H goes out on a stretcher and Batista just looks sad. And it was sad, And I remember feeling really sad when this happened because I was 11, but I still just wanted the baby faces to win. So I was like, oh, Randy Orton, I hope somebody takes the belt off him. And actually, Batista does take the belt off him in a couple of months' time at Extreme Rules, and then immediately gets injured, has to vacate the title. And Randy Orton gets it back about a week later. So, stuff. Batista would feud with Randy Orton instead the next pay-per-view, which was Judgment Day, and then Extreme Rules, the one after, where he would win the belt in a steel cage match. I'm going to give this match 3 3/4 stars. It's a really, really good 6-man. And there's logic behind it. Randy Orton's just a coward until he eventually does get the upper hand on the team. And Triple H being on the apron I really liked. Maybe he was injured. Maybe that's why they actually did an injury angle, but maybe he was injured. But I really like the fact he was on the apron watching his two teammates, hoping they wouldn't lose his title. And Ted and Cody did their jobs. And Shane throwing those potatoes, which poor Cody and Ted had to accept. But yeah, I really like this match. 3 3/4 stars. This was actually much better than I thought it was. And then we move into the main event, the final match on the show, the last man standing match between John Cena, the World Heavyweight Champion, and Edge for the World Heavyweight Championship. This again comes out of WrestleMania 25. John Cena beat Edge and the Big Show in a triple threat match to win the World Heavyweight Championship back. And Edge was not pinned in that match. It's basically the match where John Cena does the feat of strength, where he has. Let me just mute my phone in case anybody calls. Just have a far body flip. In case. It's basically the match where John Cena does the feat of strength, where he has Big Show and Edge on his shoulders. And this last man standing match was a bit slow at the beginning. By the way, John Cena came out and got booed. My thought process when Edge got booed earlier in the night was, is John Cena going to come out and get cheered? And as soon as Edge's music hit, he was pretty cheered. He wasn't. And when they were doing the yay boo punch spots, John Cena got booed, Edge got cheered. We're not in Toronto, we're not even in Canada, so crazy. I don't know what made me think Cena would get cheered in 2009. The beginning of the match was a bit slow. They just did sort of the usual work, Edge hitting Edge-o-matic, John Cena. The beginning segment was really cool because Edge went for a spear, Cena leapfrogged him, went for the AA. It was just cool stuff. And they didn't use a load of weapons. They barely used any weapons, actually. The match, actually, for a last man standing match, was mostly wrestled in the ring. But they did a lot of stuff that made you think they wouldn't make the 10 count. Whereas with Matt and Jeff, they were doing suplexes. It was and Boston crabs. I don't know. It was just silly. The match wasn't put together great. But these guys were doing things that you could logically think they wouldn't get up to. And Cena hitting AA on Edge. Edge obviously got up. So Edge speared John Cena. And no, he did that on the stage. At one point, John hit a top rope AA on Edge, but Edge got up. He went for the top rope leg drop. Edge speared him out of midair. They went to the outside. John Cena, Edge was going to do something on the announce table, but John Cena AA'd him off the announce table into the crowd. I always remember that spot, and I've always thought it was really cool. That's that a bit. I've always thought it was a really, really cool spot, really unique as well. And then they eventually brawl up to the ramp. No, they brawl backstage and sort of into like where all the fans come in, and then they brawl down some stairs to like the production area. Cena gives him a bulldog onto like some production equipment. That was really cool. Edge gives him an execution on the metal grating at the top of the ramp, and then he gets a chair. He hits Cena in the back, gives him a concerto, which was kind of the way that Edge thought he was going to win the matchup. But John Cena just gets up before 10. Edge goes for a spear to Cena. Cena catches him, lifts him for an AA, but the big show comes from backstage, lifts John Cena up and chokeslams him into a nearby spotlight. Cena cannot answer the count of 10, and Edge wins the World Heavyweight Championship. This is why John Cena's got so many title reigns, and Edge to a lesser degree, because they have like month-long reigns where they just swap the belt between them. In fact, 2009 is a perfect year for that, because John Cena wins the world title at Mania, loses it here. He wins the WWE title at Breaking Point, loses it the next month, wins it the next month. Crazy. And then he actually loses it a couple of months later after that to Sheamus. So crazy stuff. That's why he's got so many title reigns. But this is a great last man standing match. If you have not seen this, please check it out. It's one of John Cena's best matches. Really, like it's probably up in that upper echelon. I always thought this match was great when I watched it and actually saw that they did not use a lot of weapons or anything. There was no table spots, or well, apart from the announce table, I guess. There was no like table spots or chairs apart from a concerto at the end of the match. Oh, apparently this isn't plugged in. Oh my goodness. Hold on, guys. 1 second. 1 whole second, guys. Just gotta plug this in. Oh, it's there. There you go. There we go. Sorry, guys. I don't know why it wasn't plugged in. But yeah, so this was a great match. I'm going to give it 4.25 stars. A great main event. John Cena was obviously helped out of the spotlight after the matchup, and he's put in a stretcher as well. Now, Triple H wouldn't be on Raw for like a couple of months. I think he returned for the Bash pay-per-view where he faced Orton in a 3 Stages of Hell match. And Cena, I'm pretty sure, was on Raw the next night. I should maybe check before I confirm that. But he wrestled in the next pay-per-view. He wrestled the Big Show and beat him, and then wrestled him at the pay-per-view after that in a submission match at Extreme Rules and beat him. And it was like a pointless feud. But it was a great match. 4.25 stars. Finish is very good. Like I like the spotlight thing. I think it looks pretty cool. And I think it looked like it would keep you down for the count of 10. So that was Backlash 2009. I'm very happy I rewatched the show. I learnt some things about it that I couldn't remember, and I experienced some things that I'd totally forgotten, like the Carly kiss cam. I'm going to give the show overall a 7. I think that the opening 2 matches really put you in a good mood, like 3.5 stars. Christian and Swagger had a really good EC title match, and then the preposterously good Ricky Steamboat singles match with Chris Jericho are both really good. I gave them both 3.5 stars. But then the Punk match, Kane selling really took that match down for me. And then the I Quit match, which was just kind of boring. And then the Carly kiss cam. But then the last 2 matches, the 6-man tag with Randy Orton winning the WWE title, and the main event with Edge winning the world title, meaning that both world titles were on heels. I suppose you got Christian with the ECW title as well, but that wasn't really on the level of the other 2 world titles. Yeah, it's a pretty good show. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. And that is how I'm going to end this Backlash 2009 review. So this has been episode 2 of PPV Flashbacks. Fingers crossed we can get another one up soon. Thanks for watching, guys. This has been Revolver Rustler. Like, comment, and subscribe for more. Tell me your thoughts. What do you think of the Backlash 2009? Have you seen any of the show? Are there any classic pay-per-views you think I should be taking a look at? Thanks for watching, guys. I know this one's been a bit scatty with the charger and the dog, and me needing to get the DVD. But thank you for bearing with me. Thank you for all your support and all your views on episode 1. Fingers crossed we can keep the series going. Thanks for watching. This has been Revolver Wrestling.